Hello, besties. Welcome to another episode of Your New B.F.F. I'm your host, Sophie, and in this podcast, we chit chat all about positivity, realness, and the journey to your highest self. After this episode, I want you to leave feeling inspired and high vibe. So let's tune in because I'm so excited you're here with me today. Hello, my beautiful besties. Welcome back to another episode of YN BFF. As always, you guys, I really am, as always, so excited to be with you here today. I am excited to be channeling this message to you, speaking with you today. I hope this message reaches those that need to hear it, that need to tap into it, that need that little mindfulness awareness, or that just need that spark of realization. So, if you guys are new here, thank you for being here today. I hope you enjoy this chit chat with us. And if you are a returning listener, thank you for being back, bestie. And here we all chit chat and dive into the realms of self awareness, getting into our next level self, and just basically navigating the manifestation journey, stepping into our most authentic self, and just creating that vision board life that you aspire to live and have and feel, bestie. So, I typically start off each episode with a quote that's going to lead us into today's chit chat. But today I want it to be a little bit different, just a little bit. I want to get into just a really quick, maybe 30 seconds to a 1 minute to 2 minutes quick meditation. I just want us to get grounded right now. So just take one deep breath, breathe out through your mouth. Wherever you are right now, feel present in that moment. Feel centered where you are. And gently, if you can, close your eyes. And if you can't close your eyes, that's okay. Just take in another deep breath. Feel yourself in this present moment. Ask yourself, what made you click on this video? Observe your thoughts. Do not judge what comes up. If your thoughts wander, just bring them back to the present moment and into what you might be feeling in your body. If your thoughts are distracting, focus on your breath and focus on being here in this podcast episode today. What do you hope to get out of this podcast episode? Observe your thoughts. Do not judge what comes up. Let's take in a deep breath. Breathe out. Bring yourself back to this present moment. And get back into your natural pace of breath. And when you're ready, open your eyes. I hope that little meditation got you all in the present moment and just in a state of mindfulness and awareness. I wanted to talk to you guys on this episode about how to spot energy drainers, energy vampires, essentially haters. Okay, like the haters. That's what we're talking about. These types of people that are constantly shifting us out of alignment. Before we get started, I just want to give a little disclaimer that the people or that come up and what we might be talking about, this doesn't necessarily mean that these people are bad people with bad intentions. I don't want this message to come across this way. I essentially just want to bring this message to bring mindfulness and awareness to you and the people in your life, right? And that are going to be coming in and out or are going to be there throughout your entire manifestation journey. And I want to bring awareness and mindfulness to this and how certain people can sometimes shift you out of alignment and why it's important. And this is why it's important to be true to yourself in this process, and this is why it's important to have clarity in your manifestation journey and what your intentions are in your manifestation journey, and how different energies might be keeping you out of alignment, different people, behaviors, or circumstances that could be keeping you out of your high frequency. In the manifestation process, we want to ensure that our frequency is high the majority of the time. I always talk to you guys about how important consistency is to the universe. Consistency is what's going to build momentum, and momentum is going to give us that quick pace. We're going to be building and building and building momentum. And that's what the universe likes, right? What we're emitting the majority of the time. We are humans. We all have our past traumas. We all have, you know, we've all have been preconditioned at some point, and we all have certain attachment styles. But this is important to just recognize the signs of the haters, the energy vampires, and the people that are operating out of ego, and how we can take these steps to protect ourselves and our energy, right? So I just want to get on into it. You guys already know what I mean with this. And last but not least, I just want to say that we are all equal, okay? We are all children of the divine. We are all star seeds, and we all have the potential to be and become our best level selves. So, this is not to put ourselves above others or to see ourselves from a different pedestal. This is just simply awareness as to who is serving us and not. So, let's just get right into it, B, because bestie, I have a little list here of 10 signs of spotting the haters, spotting the energy drainers, the energy vampires that you're just like, why am I constantly out of alignment? And this might bring some things up. So number 1, let's just get right into it, are people who are constantly negative. The constant negativity, that they complain without seeking solutions and are only focusing on the problems. We already know these people, that it's like everything is a problem. They're always complaining no matter what. You can be like on the way to the airport to go take the most amazing vacation, and they'll just find something to complain about, like, oh my god, my seat is so uncomfortable, like I can't believe it, or the hotel's not ready yet. Like, they just always find something to complain about, and they don't take action on it. They're just constantly bringing this like negative energy and chronic pessimism to the group or to the relationship, that's always consistently focusing on the negative aspects and just refusing to see the silver lining. Like, I just can't deal with that. These types of people are always going to be, I hate to say it, but we're saying it. This is just one of these episodes. They're always emitting this low vibrational frequency. And you guys already know, according to the principles of manifestation, we must align our energy with our thoughts and our positive thoughts and our emotions, and this is crucial for positive outcomes. So if we're around constant negativity, this is going to interfere with our ability to emit higher vibrations, because energy is transferable. And when we're around people that are constantly bringing these dark clouds over us, these dark energies, it may block you from your clarity, and it may block you from receiving important universal downloads. So just keep an eye out for those people that are just chronic pessimists. Number 2, the second type of hater is the people with the victim mentality. Girl, these are the ones like we have all come across these 10, okay? But the people with the victim mentality, these are the ones that like are always blaming like external factors on their problems and refuse to take responsibility for their actions. And with these types of people, besties, like there's just a huge lack of empowerment. Okay, so lack of empowerment is such a key word because you're never going to feel empowered around them. They're extremely exhausting because they're always blaming things on external factors and not taking any accountability for their actions. They're just always focusing on, like, oh my God, like this is the reason that this didn't happen and the lack. And just instead of finding solutions, just always blaming it on external things. And then it basically just becomes a relationship where you're just taking on this person's emotional baggage and victim mentality because they're just in a constant cycle of not doing anything to help themselves out of the situation. No matter how long and how great the advice you give, this person is just not going to see themselves as powerful. They're just not going to see themselves as abundant because a victim mentality is powerless. It's just it's one of the most difficult to get through because these people just feel like nothing is their fault and they just won't take the proper accountability. So it's hard to even get through to them. They're pretty stubborn in that way. So they're just always blaming negative outcomes to external circumstances. And this is just feelings of helplessness and despair. Like, I personally, if I had to pick one or the other, I prefer the chronic negativity person because they're just complaining versus this type of person. It starts to really affect their own motivation, their own power, and it can be really exhausting when you're trying to hype them up, trying to make them see things differently, and they just always feel attacked and like it's happening to them, not for them. So let's just get on right to the next one because that was the victim mentality person. The third one is the third energy drainer is people who always have to criticize. Okay, and this is a little bit different than the negativity one, than the number one, because people that are always criticized, this gets to a point where it's kind of affecting more like your self-esteem and confidence because these types of people are just always criticizing attributes of another person. And even though they might be venting or gossiping or just criticizing things that are not towards you, um, it can actually highly impact your self-esteem and confidence because this is just like a mind thing, okay? So like if you're hearing your best friend talk crap about another person's looks, right? Or like their career or whatever, essentially you might be kikiing with them at the moment, but like the more consistent and often that this happens, you are internally going to start not to feel good. You're not going to feel empowered. You might, and you might feel like, oh no, girl, like I can talk to my friend and criticize people all the time and it's not bothering me. But it is because it's going to be affecting you. It's going to be affecting you in the long run. And you might not notice these things right now, but you don't want to be this person. Why do you want to be a person that, and I'm not saying you in particular, but why does anybody want to be a person that's highly critiquing other people? All this is creating is just blocks. People that continuously criticize, this is just a mindset of lack and unworthiness. So if someone is just constantly critiquing and finding things to critique about other people, that is just a mindset of I'm not worthy of that or I lack that, so I'm going to find something to say about it. And this definitely hinders the positivity of, the positivity and alignment of your frequency because you're constantly in a state of bringing other people down. I want you guys to think of us as interconnected, and everything is connected. So if people are constantly critiquing and bringing in negative energy, this definitely affects the circle, right? This definitely affects the group if it's like a group of friends. But it can also be like family members, it can also be colleagues at work. You have the choice to disengage from this, right? So just keep an eye out for those people. They're always finding something to criticize, always finding something to talk shit about. So let's get to number 4. Okay, number 4 is the drama seekers. Like, girl, I had so many friends that were like this back in the day. Okay, these are individuals who thrive on drama and gossip and unnecessary conflicts and making it a thing and making it an argument and making it a bickering, like Mean Girls 101. Okay, these are people that just create tension for no motherfucking reason. Okay, these type of people, and I feel like these are the ones that we see a lot, especially in like girl groups, girlfriends. Maybe not, this is my experience from life, and just from my experience, I feel like this is one of the main types of people I have seen a lot are drama seekers. So these types of people are just always starting problems when you go out, or they're calling you to just literally start something between other people. And I want you guys again to not get this confused for like calling your best friend to kiki or to vent. Honestly, sometimes that's just good for your mental health. Like, we all need those moments where we just need to like have a good talk with our friend and just be like, girl, like I'm feeling this and this and that. But you guys need to know the difference, right? There's there's a big difference between like calling your friend once every few months and having this like vent sesh where you just want to let out all your thoughts and feelings and whatever. But also journal it, bestie. Like, I know it's important to talk about it with people, and I'm all for that as well. And it's important to know the difference because there's a balance. But remember, I'm always talking about consistency. So this is talking about people that are consistently trying to start something, that they're always trying to start conflict within you, within your friends, within your man, within something. And it's unnecessary and it's for no reason. And trust me, 90% of the time, this always comes back and bites you in the butt. So disengage with people like this, engage in loving actions, inspiring conversations, meeting new people. And this can really include pulling yourself out of, people that always want to constantly bring you into their drama tornado. Like, literally, these people are like tornadoes that they just want to start shit. So let's go on straight on to number 5, the manipulators. Okay, manipulators, girl. Like, I know a lot of you guys know people like this. These are people that manipulate. They use others emotionally, or they use guilt as a tool to drain your energy, to make you feel responsible for their happiness or for their fulfillment or for their success. Manipulators are also fucking like on that top, on the top of the list, okay? Because they're going to try to influence you to align your goals with their agenda. And by doing all that, you're saying to hell with your authentic self. They're going to gaslight you into like feeling bad. And like just an example is like, let's say you're on this journey of like not smoking anymore, right? You're like, no, I don't want to smoke no more. I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore. And then, here comes the manipulator convincing you to smoke a cigarette. But girl, you're my bestie. Like, we're out tonight. Like, we got to do it. And then there you go. You take the cigarette because it's your bestie. And they just know the emotional tactics to get you. And like, she was like, come on, girl, you're looking so good tonight. Like, you already know, like TBT. And you're like, oh my God, girl, yes. And then in that moment or whatever, you start to feel bad and you're like, wait a second, I just messed up my goals. I just completely stepped out of alignment. I just made the not loving choice for myself because of this person. And if that person cared about you or your goals, they wouldn't have done that. So it's really important. Manipulators do not respect your alignment, they don't really respect your authenticity. And I've noticed that they do not respect your authenticity. They basically just want to use emotions, use guilt, as a tactic to get you on their agenda and on what they want to do. So that's a no-no. And it also pisses me off because, like, hey, just as much as you have an agenda, I have mine, and mine is staying in alignment. So thank you. Next. The next one, and let me tell you, this one, I'm sure like your colleagues do this, your friends do this, like everyone does this. It's lack of boundaries. People who always will overstep your boundaries. And I think it's human nature that people will always try to overstep your personal boundaries. And that's why it's so important, you guys, to have boundaries and to be very clear on what your boundaries are and firm on them. So, whether it's terms of time, personal space, or emotions, these people can be very draining and can highly put you out of alignment because you are constantly letting yourself down to let someone constantly overstep your boundaries. And this one to me, I think, is the number one most important one because all these other ones, all these other 1 through 10, right? All these other 10 energy drainers that I'm going to give you guys, if you are firm on your boundaries, all the other ones would kind of fall into place, right? So it's so important to be firm and freaking have boundaries, besties. Like, I am a firm believer in that. And like I've said, I want to do an entire episode on this when I'm ready and when we got the time, like there's a lot of things to chat about, but it is so important because constantly letting yourself down, besties, it's going to bring your self-esteem down. It's going to erode and destroy it. And I do not say that lightly when I say it will destroy your self-esteem if you're continuing to let yourself down and not sticking up for yourself. And by not sticking up for yourself, it actually will create prolonged stress. And prolonged stress causes a lot of physical health consequences. And it really will just affect you mindset wise, wellness wise, and it's so important to have your boundaries up. And this is what's going to keep you true to your purpose, true to your why, and it's going to make it easier. So at first it is a little bit hard to have boundaries, but it absolutely is necessary to keep your energy protected from the haters and from the vamps. Okay, so number 7 is the vampires that are in constant need of attention. And now with social media, we see this all the time. It's people that are just constantly seeking validation, attention, or approval from like outside sources. So they're not really doing anything for themselves. They are doing it because they literally require reassurance. So a lot of people, again, that are in constant need for attention will not even validate your successes or your progress because they're just too busy on like themselves and trying to get attention from other things. They just always want to one up you. You know what I'm saying? So these constant attention seekers, just they're always depending on external validation, and it's so annoying because you just constantly have to be a cheerleader for them and be like, "Yeah, girl, you're doing great. Yeah, girl, that looks great." Like they don't even believe it themselves. That's what makes it annoying. Because I love hyping my friends up, so don't get me wrong. I'll hype my besties up all day, every day. But this is different. It's like they can't hype themselves up at all. Like they do not have self worth. So they're just constantly looking for it in outside in outside resources and on social, on either on social media, from boyfriends, from men, from other best friends, from people that are more successful than them, to climb the ladder. They're just in constant requiring energy from you and from others. So on to the next. Number 8 is going to be unsupportive relationships. So like, what do I mean by that? These are people where they basically just bring nothing. They bring nothing to your relationship. They're not supportive. They're not understanding. They don't give you encouragement. And honestly, it can just become draining. You're like, wait a second. I'm your friend, but are you mine? These people just want to take, 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 take. And there's no balance in your relationship. Okay? So you got to keep a real deal with yourself and ask yourself, are you the one like doing everything in the relationship? Are you the one going above and beyond for them? Or are they reciprocating? Are they giving you back the same energy? These types of people, it's like you're the one that's always there to support them. You're the one there to hype them up, but when it comes to you, it's lack. When it comes to you, it's not enough. And it's okay, bestie. Like, you deserve more than enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're an above and beyond friend, like, keep it real with yourself. Like, is this person valuing you? Or do you feel like you're spending more emotional strength trying to keep the relationship? You know? Or if you're constantly feeling like you have to be walking on eggshells around them because, like, they're gonna snap or they're just, you're unsure, right? Then you don't need these types of people. These types of people don't really provide value to the relationship. So these types of people are just kind of there on your journey, and maybe they invite you to go out and stuff. Like, I just want to give you guys an example of this. Maybe it's a friend that like always invites you to go out. You always make the effort every time they invite you. You're always their wing woman. You're always like the old, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you always come through with the vibes and the energy, and you're a loyal friend and you've never done them wrong. But when it comes to you, hmm, like, they might not text back. Maybe, you've invited them to a few things that are important to you and they've never come through for you, or they prioritize other things that might not be as important over you. And if you constantly feel like you can't even really be honest with them because you're not sure how they might react. So, nobody got time for that. On this journey, you want to be around people that are motivating you and inspiring you to be your best next level self. And I'm not saying this is an easy journey. I'm actually saying, like, this, there's going to be parts of our journey that are not easy. And it's why it's important to stay clear on our vision, stay clear on our purpose, and just be mindful of people that are not supporting it and people that are actually bringing us more emotional, taxing experiences versus keeping our glass full. So, number 9 is excessive self centeredness. And for me, this one was kind of different than the constant need for attention. Okay, because the constant need for attention is basically like people that don't feel good about themselves unless they have that external validation. But for me, with this one, number 9, excessive self centeredness, it's basically people that are just steering away the conversation back to themselves. And I know some of you might have talked to these people where you're like, you know what, girl, let me vent to you about what's going on, right? Maybe you start talking about your relationship or something, or let's just say like a situation at work. And you start talking to them about your situation at work. They're like, oh my God, they just interrupt you. Oh my God, girl, yeah, like when this happened to me at work, and they just start talking about themselves. And like they're not contributing to your well-being or to your conversation or contributing positively to the conversation. They just always turn it around back to themselves. And this can be really toxic because it basically leads to just like a lack of empathy and understanding. Like, these type of people are not really understanding where you're coming from because they're just really self-centered on them, and like they prioritize like their needs and like what they're going through instead of kind of like what you're going through. So it's kind of like a lack of consideration. It's like, okay, I get what you're going through, girl, but like, I'm talking about me right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't hold space. Um they don't hold space for the friendship, or they don't hold space for the relationship. And that creates an environment, well, where the self-centered person is just like unable to create like a meaningful relationship, right? Because they're just focusing on themselves and you feel unheard. So I've noticed that a lot of these people um that are excessively self-centered, they lack a lot of self-awareness because they'll be in the conversation like literally not aware that they're interrupting you, not aware that they're just constantly talking about themselves, not aware that they're making it difficult um to have a relationship. So this can lead to you feeling lonely, feeling isolated in the relationship. So it's really important to recognize that and also recognize the difference between like self-centeredness like in a healthy way where it's like, girl, like I'm doing things for me now, but that's not where I'm coming from. I'm talking about people who prioritize kind of like their own needs and like their own desires and thoughts over somebody else and just kind of dismissing other people because of their lack of mindfulness, empathy, and so forth. So keep an eye out for those, bestie. Like, you are important. You are meant to be heard. You are meant to be around people that can hold space for you. So, number 10, this is the last one of the list. And it was important. Like, honestly, it was number 10, but I'm like, you know what? We're finishing off strong. People that never show or express gratitude. Bye. Like, people who never show or express or appreciation for positive aspects, ugh, irk me. Like, lack of gratitude is such a turn off, besties. It is so toxic because it's just I've noticed people that are not thankful have like some sort of bitterness to them. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just like so bitter. Um and they're kind of envious and like resentful. Like I know you guys have like come across people like that, like, oh, like why are you so mean? Like for no reason, or people that are just so salty, because when people focus on what they don't have, you become blind to all the blessings that you do have. And that can lead to a lot of unhappiness and dissatisfaction versus like when you're focusing on gratitude, you're focusing on the positive aspects, you're focusing on expansion, increased happiness, and feelings of abundance and well being. So it definitely creates a whole different type of aura. You're seeing life through a whole different lens. So, being around people that express gratitude, you yourself showing gratitude is immediately putting yourself in alignment. I have a whole episode about gratitude. I believe it's the key to manifesting everything you want. It's one of the episodes on the podcast. So, those were the 10 energy drainers slash haters slash energy vampires that can be fucking up your energy, your manifestation journey, and your alignment. And as your bestie, I'm here to remind you, to bring awareness to you, and to give you that awareness of like, is this happening with anybody in my life? Sometimes we kind of have to like reevaluate, right? Not sometimes. I feel like regularly in our journey, we should reevaluate what we're doing, who we're hanging out around, the energy that we're taking in, because this can come from all sorts of people. So not just your family, but your friends, your colleagues, situations that you're putting yourselves in, groups of people. So just really be mindful, bestie. Know that you are worth everything that you desire, everything that you aspire to be on your vision board. You deserve fulfillment and happiness and living your vision board dream life. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you haven't yet, please leave a review. It helps the podcast out so much. Share this episode. I can't wait to chit chat with you next week. And if you are new here, don't go just yet because I end the episode with 3 affirmations that you can replace any negative thought, any shift of frequency with these affirmations. I am at the right place at the right time. I am a magnet for miracles and blessings. I am mindful of energy drainers and shift myself back into alignment. Besties, thank you so much for tuning in today. I loved chatting with you. Tune in on the Instagram to chit chat and stay up to date, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of YNBFF. If you love what you heard, please support by following our podcast and leaving a stellar review. You can also follow my socials posted in the show notes. I am so excited to catch you in the next episode, and until then, stay feeling high, blessed, and divine, besties. Bye!